The things that tell us a lot of things about Leonardo da Vinci is not what it is inside, but what it is missing.
For over 500 years, Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper has captivated the world with its haunting beauty and mysterious details. Millions have stared at this masterpiece, believing they understood what they saw. They were wrong. When artificial intelligence finally peered beneath the painted surface, it found something that human eyes were never meant to see. Hidden words, secret messages, and a truth so shocking it made historians tremble with fear. The painting that refused to die. It hangs on a crumbling wall in Milan, inside a quiet dining hall that has survived wars, floods, and the slow decay of time. Scholars have spent lifetimes studying every brushstroke. Yet beneath its fading surface, something has been waiting. When Leonardo received this commission in 1495, he broke every rule. Traditional fresco painters worked fast, applying pigment to wet plaster. Leonardo refused to rush. He mixed experimental paints, oils, and tempera on dry plaster, adding layer after layer with obsessive precision. The monks complained he would stare at the wall for hours without lifting a brush. This unusual technique gave him total control. But it came with a cost. Within 20 years, the paint began flaking. The colors faded. By 1568, witnesses described the masterpiece as merely a glowing stain. Yet those same experimental layers became the perfect hiding place. Between surface and wall, Leonardo created dozens of invisible layers. Layers that would remain buried for centuries, waiting for technology advanced enough to finally reveal them. The man who wrote backwards. To understand what artificial intelligence would eventually discover, you must first understand the mind that created this masterpiece. Leonardo da Vinci was an inventor who dreamed of flying machines centuries before the first airplane. A scientist who dissected human bodies in secret to understand how muscles moved beneath skin. A genius who filled thousands of notebook pages with ideas so advanced that engineers still study them today. But Leonardo faced a dangerous problem. In 15th century Italy, the Catholic Church controlled knowledge. To question the natural order, to suggest the universe operated by measurable laws rather than divine mystery, was to risk imprisonment or worse. So Leonardo developed a system. He wrote his private thoughts in mirror script, backwards from right to left, readable only through a reflection. His notebooks contained observations, inventions, and questions that challenged accepted wisdom. Theories about the sun, stars, water, and light that contradicted church teachings. These pages were kept secret, passed between trusted hands, and nearly lost to history. Consider this: if Leonardo hid radical thoughts in private notebooks, what might he have concealed in his most public work? A painting commissioned by the church itself, too famous to destroy, too sacred to question, too complex for anyone to decode. Leonardo worked on the Last Supper for nearly 4 years. Witnesses reported strange behavior. Some days he painted from dawn until darkness. Other days he simply stood before the wall in silence, studying, making marks only in his mind. When the Duke of Milan demanded to know why the work was taking so long, Leonardo replied that genius works in ways that cannot be rushed. Was he painting or encoding? Every hand, every finger, every loaf of bread was positioned with mathematical precision. Leonardo believed mathematics was the language of the universe. In the Last Supper, everything was deliberate. For centuries, scholars noticed strange details they could only partially explain. The disciples grouped in patterns of 3. Body angles forming invisible lines toward Jesus. Perspective so perfect, the painted space seemed to extend beyond the wall. Some researchers suggested the composition contained musical notes, Others believed it held astrological symbols, but proof remained elusive. The painting was too damaged. Too many restoration layers had buried the original details beneath centuries of interpretation. Then came technology that could finally peel back those layers. Technology that could see what human eyes could only imagine. Technology that could read patterns invisible to everyone, except the machine trained to find them. What it discovered would change everything. When machines learned to see, for centuries, the secrets of the Last Supper remained locked beneath layers of paint, dirt, and failed restorations. Human eyes had reached their limit. Even the most powerful microscopes could only reveal so much. The painting needed something more. It needed a mind that could process millions of data points simultaneously. A mind that worked tirelessly, made zero assumptions, and searched endlessly for patterns. It needed artificial intelligence. In recent years, a revolution has transformed how we study ancient art. Hyperspectral imaging, a technology originally developed for satellites and military surveillance, can now peer beneath the surface of paintings without touching them. Unlike regular cameras that capture only red, green, and blue light, hyperspectral sensors capture hundreds of wavelengths, including ultraviolet and infrared frequencies, invisible to human eyes. When directed at a painting, this technology reveals what lies beneath. Hidden sketches, abandoned compositions, layers of pigment applied centuries apart. It can distinguish between original brush strokes and later restorations. It can identify the chemical signature of every color, telling researchers exactly which pigments an artist used and when those pigments were manufactured. But hyperspectral imaging alone produces overwhelming amounts of data. A single scan of the Last Supper generates millions of spectral readings. This is where artificial intelligence enters the story. AI systems trained on pattern recognition can process these massive data sets in hours. They can identify shapes, symbols, and structures that human researchers would overlook. They can compare findings against databases of known artistic techniques, handwriting samples, and historical documents. And most importantly, they can find connections across different layers of a painting, reconstructing what an artist created, changed, and concealed. When researchers applied these combined technologies to the Last Supper, they expected to learn about pigments and restoration history. What they discovered instead sent shockwaves through the academic world. The AI began flagging anomalies, structured patterns hidden in the darker regions of the painting, behind the disciples, along the shadowed walls, inside the folds of robes and the spaces between figures. Areas that human eyes had always dismissed as background. The algorithm detected faint markings that resembled letters, organized sequences consistent with written language. The patterns matched Leonardo's known handwriting. At first, the research team assumed it was a digital error. They ran the scans again using different wavelengths: ultraviolet, infrared, X-ray fluorescence. Every method produced the same result. The markings were physically present in the original paint layers, buried beneath centuries of restoration. The AI identified that these hidden elements followed a mathematical spiral pattern, beginning near Jesus' right hand and radiating outward through each group of disciples. This was consistent with Leonardo's documented obsession with the golden ratio and geometric proportion. The team realized they were looking at intentional inscriptions. Leonardo had embedded something into the very structure of his masterpiece, something he intended only for future eyes to find. When the AI began matching the letter forms against Leonardo's authenticated handwriting samples, the correlation was undeniable. The hidden script showed the same distinctive characteristics: the reversed letter orientation, the unusual spacing, the specific way Leonardo formed certain characters. The researchers faced an extraordinary situation. They had discovered evidence that Leonardo da Vinci had hidden written messages inside the most famous religious painting in history. Messages that had survived centuries of damage, war, and restoration. Messages that required machine intelligence to detect. The hardest part came next. Translating what Leonardo had written and preparing for what those words might reveal. The hidden words revealed. The translation process was painstaking. Leonardo wrote in 15th century Italian, a dialect that differs significantly from the modern language we know today. Every single character had to be carefully reversed, every word painstakingly reconstructed, every phrase thoughtfully interpreted within the full context of Renaissance thought, symbolism, and the intellectual traditions of that extraordinary era. Using its extensive training on Leonardo's surviving notebooks, the AI system understood his peculiar abbreviations, his unconventional and often inconsistent spelling patterns, his distinctive habit of combining multiple words together, and his tendency for inventing entirely new terms when existing language failed to capture his meaning. Slowly, methodically, fragments of hidden text began to emerge from the shadows of the Last Supper, rising up through centuries of obscurity. The first complete phrase appeared beneath the tablecloth, concealed within the intricate embroidery pattern that Leonardo had painted with almost microscopic precision. When the translation was finally completed, the words that emerged read, "What is seen is what appears to be true." The researchers sat in stunned silence. This was a philosophical statement of remarkable depth, one that seemed to question the very nature of perception, appearance, and ultimate reality itself. Near the figure of Thomas, the disciple who became famous throughout Christian tradition for doubting the resurrection of Christ until he could see physical proof, the AI detected another hidden inscription buried in the painted surface. The translated words that emerged were, "To question is the path to clarity." This discovery was remarkable in its implications. Leonardo had deliberately placed a message celebrating the virtue of doubt directly beneath the figure of the doubting apostle himself. This careful positioning strongly suggested that the placement was entirely intentional, that each hidden phrase was designed to correspond meaningfully to the specific figure positioned above it in the composition. The research team began the meticulous work of mapping every single detection across the entire expanse of the painting. What gradually emerged from this systematic analysis was an unmistakable pattern. Each of the 12 disciples had associated text hidden somewhere nearby in the painted surface. Each individual message seemed to reflect and comment upon the character, story, or symbolic meaning of that particular apostle as understood through centuries of religious tradition. Beneath the figure of Peter, who was widely known throughout Scripture for his tremendous strength of faith, but also for his painful human failures and moments of weakness, the decoded words read, "Strength without understanding is blind." Near the shadowed figure of Judas, whose treacherous face Leonardo had famously struggled for months to paint with the proper expression of guilt and inner torment, the hidden inscription stated, "He who eats with truth will remain true to himself." Close to the figure of John, the youngest of all the apostles who sits nearest to Jesus in the composition, leaning toward his master with youthful devotion, the AI analysis found these words, "Youth sees what age has learned to ignore." With each new translation that emerged from the darkness of the painted surface, the researchers grew more profoundly astonished at what they were witnessing. These were deliberate, carefully considered thoughts, embedded with obvious intention. Leonardo had created an entire hidden commentary on the depths of human nature itself, using the 12 disciples as powerful symbols representing different essential aspects of the human condition. Faith standing alongside doubt. Strength existing beside weakness. The clarity of youth contrasted with the accumulated wisdom of age, unwavering loyalty measured against the possibility of betrayal. At the precise geometric center of the entire painting, positioned directly behind the sacred figure of Jesus Christ himself, the AI detected what proved to be the longest continuous inscription of all. This central message was buried far deeper than any of the others, concealed beneath multiple successive layers of paint, as if Leonardo had wanted to protect and preserve this particular message above all else he had hidden. When the final words of this central inscription finally emerged after weeks of careful analysis and reconstruction, the research team immediately understood why Leonardo had buried them so deep beneath the surface. The central inscription read, "Truth belongs to those who seek it in silence." The implications of this single statement were staggering in their scope and boldness. In an age when the Catholic Church claimed complete and absolute authority over all religious and philosophical truth, Leonardo had hidden a message suggesting that truth was actually the rightful property of independent seekers. It belonged to those who questioned quietly within their own minds. It belonged to those who searched for genuine knowledge outside the accepted boundaries that powerful institutions had established. Another phrase, discovered along the shadowed archways painted in the background of the scene, declared with striking confidence, "The ones who hold power will bury truth beneath stone until the eyes of the future uncover it." This passage read almost like a prophecy reaching across the centuries. Leonardo seemed to have predicted with uncanny accuracy that his hidden messages would remain buried and undiscovered until some future generation finally developed the technological means to find them. He was writing his secret thoughts for us, for the age of machines that could see what human eyes could only dream of someday seeing. The final decoded passage proved to be the most complex of all. Its words scattered across multiple separate locations throughout the painting, but forming a single continuous thought when carefully assembled in proper sequence. It stated, "Faith without reason is the sleep of truth, and those who wake shall see what was forbidden." The researchers now faced a profound and somewhat unsettling realization about the full magnitude of their discovery. They had uncovered compelling evidence that one of history's greatest and most celebrated artists, while working on a sacred commission directly for the Catholic Church itself, had secretly embedded an entire hidden manifesto questioning the very foundations of religious authority and institutional power. All of it concealed in plain sight for centuries upon centuries. All of it buried inside the most reproduced, most recognized religious image in all of human history. A message across time. The moment the findings became public, the world divided. News of the hidden inscriptions spread faster than any Renaissance secret ever could have traveled. Within mere hours, headlines appeared in every language across every continent. Social media platforms erupted with passionate debate and endless discussion. Leonardo da Vinci, dead for centuries, was suddenly positioned at the very center of a global controversy that crossed all boundaries of culture and belief. Historians immediately called it the most significant discovery in all of art history since the painting itself was originally created. For the first time in human experience, technology had revealed what an artist truly thought beneath the surface of his public work. The Last Supper was transformed from a beloved religious masterpiece into something far more extraordinary. It became a time capsule, a deliberate message from the distant past, carefully designed to survive until humanity finally developed the sophisticated tools required to read it. Religious institutions responded with measured caution. The Vatican issued an official statement acknowledging the findings, but urging careful and thoughtful interpretation of what the inscriptions might mean. Scholars working within the Church argued that Leonardo's hidden words actually encouraged a deeper, more contemplative engagement with spiritual truth rather than undermining it. Others proved less diplomatic in their reactions, Some conservative voices dismissed the entire discovery as nothing more than technological manipulation, claiming that artificial intelligence had simply found meaningful patterns where only randomness and coincidence actually existed. The ongoing debate revealed a deeper tension that had always existed beneath the surface. For centuries, the Last Supper had belonged to the faithful. It hung in churches, cathedrals, and humble homes as a sacred symbol of devotion and belief. Now it suddenly carried a second meaning, one that suggested its creator viewed truth as something to be discovered through active questioning rather than simply accepted through passive obedience. The painting itself remained exactly the same, yet its significance had transformed entirely. In academic circles around the world, the discovery sparked nothing less than a revolution in how scholars approached historical art. If Leonardo had successfully hidden messages in the Last Supper, what else might be concealed in his other celebrated works? Researchers began applying the same AI analysis techniques to the Mona Lisa, the Virgin of the Rocks, and Leonardo's countless unfinished paintings that survived in museums and private collections. New ambitious projects launched across Europe and America, systematically scanning Renaissance masterpieces with hyperspectral technology, searching for secrets that previous generations had completely overlooked. The decoded phrases also reignited scholarly interest in Leonardo's personal notebooks. Researchers found that many of the hidden inscriptions directly echoed ideas scattered throughout his private writings. The connection between his public art and his private thoughts was now completely undeniable. Leonardo had been conducting a secret conversation with the future across the centuries, hiding his true philosophy in places where the powerful could only watch helplessly, unable to silence him. Museums reported record attendance figures. The Santa Maria delle Grazie in Milan, where the Last Supper still hangs on its fragile, deteriorating wall, became overwhelmed with visitors arriving from every corner of the globe. People who had seen the painting before returned to stand before it once again, this time knowing that beneath the faded colors and cracked surface lay hidden words they could only imagine with their own eyes. Words that had waited centuries to finally be spoken aloud. For many people, the discovery carried deeply personal meaning. Leonardo's hidden message addressed fundamental questions about religion, power, and the courage required to think independently, to question what you are told by authority, to seek truth even when seeking becomes dangerous. In an age plagued by misinformation and digital manipulation, his ancient words resonated with unexpected and powerful force. Truth belongs to those who seek it in silence. Perhaps this was Leonardo's greatest gift to humanity, the enduring reminder that knowledge belongs to those who actively pursue it, that the powerful will always attempt to control what ordinary people believe, and that sometimes the most important truths must remain hidden until the world finally becomes ready to receive them. Leonardo da Vinci died in 1519, centuries before artificial intelligence existed even as a concept. Yet somehow he knew. He understood with remarkable clarity that his words were too dangerous for his own time. So he buried them deep in paint and geometry, in mathematical spirals and microscopic script, trusting completely that someday, somehow, humanity would develop the eyes to finally see. The Last Supper still hangs in Milan, the same faded colors, the same crumbling ancient wall. Visitors are allowed only 15 minutes in its presence, a small, precious window to stand before one of humanity's greatest artistic achievements. But now, when people look upon that ancient wall, they see something far more than a painting depicting a final meal. They see a message from a genius who believed with absolute conviction that truth could survive anything, even centuries of enforced silence. and they wonder what other secrets still remain hidden in plain sight, waiting patiently for the next generation of machines to finally see. Leonardo's secret survived centuries. Now it belongs to the world. What do you think he was truly hiding? Like, share, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more mysteries.